Hi everybody, it's Nikki again, and I am here to do a video that I'm not even sure I'm allowed to do, but I guess we'll see. So we'll see. I am about to do a hit of Afrezza. I don't think that's what they call it. Probably a dose of Afrezza. And I figured I would just, since I'm waiting for my transmitter to be found anyway, I figured I'd just go ahead and do a video of it, and then I will look to see if this is okay. And my guess is it's not. But you can see how often I actually use YouTube other than to post videos. So Afrezza, this is personal experience, no medical advice whatsoever, and not a how-to at all. Really, the only reason I'm even doing the video is because I know some of these things, like you see the advertisement for it, or you overhear people talking about it, but sometimes there's no context whatsoever. Like, I don't even know what the product looks like. I don't have any idea if it's, somebody asked me the other day if it could cause damage the way vaping can, and I don't know. Like, I don't have any idea. I don't know if this is the same thing, and it's because I also don't know what vaping is. So, and the answer is no, I don't think it can. But anyway, so transmitter found. Yes, okay. So it's, I'm doing all these things, and I'm doing them because I'm curious what they are, and because I am diabetic, and these are all potential tools. So why not make a video and just show you what it looks like? And that's my reason. And then I'll find out that I can't anyway. So here is my pack of Afrezza. And this one I just started to open right now. Once you get one of these packs open, I think they're good for 3 days. I think you have to use it within 3 days. So there are 3 in this pack. I have no idea how the other packages come, but in this box there are 3 cartridges per blister pack. It might be called a blister pack. And this is my inhaler. Nothing turns on, nothing charges, just a inhaler. Okay. And what I've learned, I'm now on my 4th or 5th day of using Afrezza, so I'm learning as I go. And some of the stuff I've learned is that the inhaler is only good for 15 days, so it really means that I'm not sure why, and I'm not sure if that's something that you could work with. Maybe it's only good for 15 days because of the residue. And I have noticed that there is residue that collects in there. So I'm starting before every hit. I might get the end of a knife. Or even a test strip, which seems to work really well in there, and kind of clean out some of the slots to make sure there's no extra residue in there, and then I give this thing a good blow, because there is powder that kind of sits in there, and when you take your hit, some of that loose powder gets in your throat and immediately makes you cough. But I don't think that cough is one that's hit your lungs. I think it's just the tickling of it in your throat. So I do that. Because that's what fixes everything. Just blowing into it. Okay, here's the cartridge. I don't know where the camera is. There's the cartridge. I have also learned in doing this to look inside there, and it's hard to see. But before you put it in the inhaler, it's sealed, so you can give it a good couple of taps. Because it's powder inside there. And so think about, seasoning or whatever that gets kind of clumped up. So I try to break it up, and that seems to have helped. And then I have also learned that I can take my hit, and then I can just stop and pull out the cartridge and tap it and do whatever and put it back in if I still see powder in there, and take another hit. The first couple times I did it, I tried to do it all in one hit and thought I got I didn't know what I got, and that's part of the Afrezza. Is I think you're not always sure what you've gotten, but I also have been finding I'm getting plenty as long as I make sure I've gotten what's inside the pod cartridge. So that's the cartridge, and this is an 8-unit cartridge. The only ones I have available are 8 and 12, but I think they come in 4, 8, and 12. I'm gonna take my hit. And this is the part I don't know if I'm supposed to do. But I load it in. I close it. I'm careful at this point not to turn my inhaler over, because at this point it's broken the seal. So if I were to flip it, then I think powder would go everywhere. And then I like this. Oh, and I tilt this down just a little bit. Okay. That felt illegal, but it is really just an Afrezza pouch. This is why they tell people you can't do this. Okay, so now I would take a look, and actually, that looks like a really clean pod. Sometimes I'll look in there and I can still see what looks like all of it, or half of it, and I'm sure there's some powder at the top, and I'm sure there's some powder in there, but that looked like a pretty complete dose. And as I said, I am learning to check, because if I think I'm getting 8 units, which is the equivalent of 4 injected, then I would be very disappointed if it turned out I only got 1, right? Like it's a big difference. But that looks like I got 8 units, so I'm really happy. And that is what I would say about Afrezza. And now I'll go find out if I can post this. Thanks for watching. Bye.